We've come a long ways. That was obviously early in a lot of things here at Nebraska with this whole Frost era. They handed it to us that day. That's one of the only couple games that when I've been here, that truly felt like they were the more physical team. They beat us that day. But you're exactly right. They were a really good football team at that time, and we were young. But there's a lot of things that we learned from that game, and there's a lot of things we've learned since to be able to become the team that we are now. So hopefully it'll be really a game this time.
What do you put your finger on where you guys have really come along since then? Stronger, bigger, faster? I don't know. How would you even close that?
Yeah, just the overall understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished as an offense, as a team. That's come a long ways. I mean, it's hard to push that vision across when the coaching staff gets here. Very first year, it's just kind of more baseline, trying to get an understanding of what you need to get done as an individual position group. So now it's kind of a big picture, big vision. It's where it's come a long way in that regard.
How much have you seen guys kind of embrace that triple option, piece of the puzzle, and how much better have you guys gotten at that, blocking and everything involved?
Yeah, it's a lethal offense when you execute it. It really spreads the field. It really opens up our playbook too. I mean, you can run a lot of things off of it, but people are starting to really love it just because they've seen what it can do in practice. They've seen what it can do versus a Big Ten opponent. So it's something that we're just going to keep harping on. It's going to open up, like I said, it's going to open up a lot of other things too. We can't just live and die on it. I mean, it's obviously worked really well for us. But that's not something we can just run every time. Like it's a big part of our offense, and it's worked so far. So.
You guys seem pretty impressed with how Teddy and Mary handled themselves Saturday. Did you kind of see that they had that mindset throughout the offseason, that if they got plugged in there, they could do it like that?
Yeah, I was very impressed with how they came in and played. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of skeptical just because there's a new line. Like there's a lot of times you don't get those game reps with those guys, so you never know how it's going to work out. But I think they stepped in there and did awesome. It was kind of weird not with Benhart in there, because you look over, Benhart's one of the only guys I got to look up to talk to, and it was kind of weird talking to Teddy. He's like, "Oh, you're even taller." So they did great things. It was something that I shouldn't say I was skeptical. They were really good football players, and even in fall camp, I was comfortable with them doing anything in our offense. Nerdy's come a long ways. I mean, he played as a true freshman at Colorado State, so he's had a little bit of experience. And Teddy's got experience with Oklahoma, being a tight end, I guess you could call it. But they stepped in there and did really good things, and I'm proud of those guys.
Austin, was that the best you guys had blocked? How big is it when you guys hit that one key block on the edge to spring some of those runs?
Yeah, I mean, the front line, I think, did a great job at getting the play started, but how plays turn into big plays is how well you can block downfield and at the receiver and tight end and position. And I think our guys did awesome. Frost always tells us you can really dictate how good a team is by how well the receivers block. I mean, because those are the blocks that spring plays for 80. And I'm really proud of how those guys went out and blocked, because I mean when you're setting those harder blocks on the outside and you're running plays for 80, that's really got to open up the game in the future, because I mean those guys are going to have to trigger to the run game harder, and that's going to open up some slips past them and really the deep game. So I'm happy with the way we blocked downfield, and obviously we had really big plays on Saturday, and those are going to be key for this weekend. I mean, we need to have big plays to beat a team like Michigan, because Michigan's, I mean, they're really disciplined. They're a really good football team.
What's the psychological challenge now of moving, keeping this thing going, and not getting too high in performance, and starting to get close?
Yeah, I think that's my biggest stress to the team this week. I mean, yeah, we kicked the crap out of a Big Ten West team, but so what now? It's in the past. I mean, we won that game. Click the reset button again. Let's win this game. Frost kind of alluded to something today that I really liked, and he said we got 3 2-week seasons left. We got 2 weeks till a bye week, and then we got 2 weeks till another bye week, and 2 weeks. I mean, what are we going to do to win these 2 games this week before we get to a bye week? That's kind of how I'm going to approach it. But the biggest task at hand is this weekend. I mean, that's the Big Ten championship for me this weekend, and that's how I'm going to treat it. And then the Big Ten championship's going to be next weekend versus Minnesota. That's how I'm going to approach that. But there's a lot of stuff to be learned. There's a lot of stuff to be happy about on what happened on Saturday, but you can't lean on that. I mean, our attention to detail has got to pick up that much more with a team like Michigan.
You guys have had a lot more of those sort of field flipping type plays this year than the last couple. I mean, they haven't scored a ton of points until last week, but have you seen signs of that explosive offense coming along a little bit?
Yeah, it's always been kind of in the works. There's always kind of been a thing where there's one guy not executing on the edge that would spring a block or spring a play for 80 yards. And I think Saturday was one of the first times that all across the board we were just executing as an entire offense. And it was cool to see what can actually happen when you get all 11 guys doing the same job. But it's always been something that's in our playbook. I mean, we can spread the field. I mean, we can run it down right up the middle. We got that in the offense too. We got to get to that. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff in our playbook that we really haven't scratched the surface yet. I mean, there's stuff that we can do. Frost is a genius in the playbook. So there's a lot of stuff we can really get to, but yeah.